Hi guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and today I am going to be doing a first impressions and sharing a little excerpt of The Last Dragon by James Riley. This is the second book in the Revenge of Magic series, which I will leave all of the info about below so you can find out more about what the whole series is about and find links to it and all of that. But I'm going to get straight into the excerpt and then follow it up with my kind of general thoughts on the style and the story and whether I think it's something you should pick up. So, not having read the first book, I'm doing my best to avoid spoilers, and though the first chapter is very exciting and compelling, I think that it probably does have some spoilers in it, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to read you a little bit, just to give you a taste of the style, from chapter 2. Briefly, this is a magical fantasy middle grade series. From what I can tell anyway, the world splits open and some monstrous things happen, so that is kind of the general background. To set up the excerpt that I'm going to share with you, it's following the main character, Fort, who has had his life upended and his father has gone missing, possibly dead, and he finds himself kind of thrust in the middle of all this danger. So I don't think there's much more you need to know before I get into this, so I'm going to get into it. Chapter 2. Fort had been in the new school for a couple of weeks now, but for some reason he still couldn't find the cafeteria without following the signs. At least that fit with the level of secrecy surrounding the entire school, since he didn't even know where it was located. For all he knew, Fort could be in another country right now. After the last school had been destroyed by one of the first students, Damien, while Damien was possessed by the same old one from Fort's dream, all the students had been transported off the army base, first by helicopter, then by plane, and finally driven by bus to the new school, blindfolded until they'd arrived inside the underground hallways. The soldiers on board claimed that it was for their own safety, since if the kids didn't know where the school was, they couldn't reveal it to anyone with supernatural access to their minds. But Fort just figured the soldiers were used to being secretive, since the only person on the planet with mind magic was presently off with Damien trying to locate more books of magic. What Fort did know was that the new school was entirely below the ground level, locked behind 3-foot-thick round metal doors. The soldiers claimed those doors would keep them safe, even if someone dropped a nuclear bomb within 30 miles. That was comforting, but made Fort wonder what would happen if someone dropped a bomb within 20 miles, or 10, or, say, right on top of the school. Not that nuclear bombs were his biggest concern. Given what had happened at the last school, the other students seemed far more dangerous than any missile. So there you have it. That is a little sneak peek of the book, of the style, so you can kind of get a feel for the characters in the world. Now I'm going to get into my thoughts, and this is going to be a little bit complex because, as I mentioned, I haven't actually read the first book, so it's hard for me to say, just because I'm being plunged right in to book 2 without kind of knowing too much of what went on in the first one. It's hard for me to say whether it would really be something that I would gel with or you would gel with, because I don't know everything that's happened, and because of that there's some obvious confusion. So I'm going to just kind of set that aside. It's not this book's fault that I haven't read the first book. And I will say that from the things that have kind of happened so far and the direction this one seems to be going, it does make me intrigued and it does make me curious what all happened in that first book. I think from what I'm kind of gathering from the first 4 or 5 chapters or so, there are some things that happened that I find very intriguing and that I also think would really captivate the intended audience. Like, I think, middle grade readers, kids that want adventure, kids that want fantasy and dragons and explosions, I think that it has a really good chance of drawing them in. And so far I think it also does a pretty good job of blending those kind of high concept crazy things with the more relatable middle grade touches, like just being a kid interacting with other kids and school and adults and things like that. It incorporates that really well from what I've read so far, so I feel like it's giving a lot of opportunities for readers to kind of be drawn in and to relate and connect to these characters in this world, even though it is fantastical and kind of crazy. I don't know how well suited it would be to older readers, YA, and adult, unless they are active fans of middle grade. It does definitely feel more middle grade in its presentation and in its depth than it does, something that would really draw in a YA reader. but I think like upper middle grade, lower YA is really its kind of sweet spot. And so if you're into that thing, or you have a kid who's into that thing who wants some fantastical adventure, this might be a good one to look into. I wouldn't say as a standalone. I think you would definitely want to pick up the first book. So that is a little teaser of book 2, The Last Dragon, from the Revenge of Magic series. The first book I think is just called The Revenge of Magic. Both are out now. This one came out I think yesterday by the time you guys are seeing this video, so something to look into. And as I said, the synopsis and the links to both books will be in the description below, so you can check out more about them there. But that is all for this video. Hopefully that was a quick one. Those are kind of a rarity around these parts, but I'm trying to kind of work more of them in there, and also just more videos because I'm way behind, as you guys well know. I have 2 unedited haul videos and another box sitting waiting to be recorded. So we might have haul week next week, but that is all for this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and if there are any other books that you would like to see me do excerpts or first impressions of, let me know that as well. But until next time, thank you guys for watching, and of course, happy reading!